at the current scenario is not will not last forever, because right now these companies are making so much money off of our data, and they own our data. We don't own it; they own it, and they're profiting from it at the detriment of everyone else. Like there's something inherently wrong there.
Something's there, yeah. So I know you're big in AI,
right?
There's some stuff that the small business owner can use for AI, but a lot of that is still kind of out of reach.
Well, what I would say is, and this does tie into the live stream, but I can talk about it in a very general way. 3 fundamental, principles, or you could say like foundational, of how to operate going forward, right? And I'd say like the first is to really look at the strategy that you're following, and recognize that in today's day and age, strategy is a lot more emergent than it is. It's not plan and execute as much as it is to interact with the world, and kind of then from what is happening in the world, have that define what your next steps are based on where you want to end up.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And where you want to end up, that's where like the idea of see your business as a system that gets a solution for your customers is where you want to end up. Like if you stay true to that, then you never really get off track.
Sure.
So part of strategy is that understanding that it's emergent. It's a lot less plan and execute. It's also part of your strategy then is to align yourself with certain partners, right? Part of that strategy is to recognize the sources that you learn from, or get information from, or model, or follow, or whatever.
Sure.
Right. So that understanding of the strategy element, like what's your overall strategy to win in an environment that's going to become increasingly hostile to small businesses, as these platforms kind of eat more and more of our lunch money. The amount of spending online from 2000, I think, in a 13-year period, I think it was like 2004 to 2017, like went up 75 times from like some number of double-digit billions to trillions.
And like 80% of that money is probably to
and that's my point. Like a lot more money is coming online, but is it in your pocket? Is it in my pocket? Probably not. Right, so that's what I mean by hostile environment. There's a lot. Maybe your business has grown. Maybe it's double what it was, but but it's a fraction of the amount of money that's coming in online and being taken by these big platforms, right? The second thing would be to really drill down a little bit more on source, because things change so frequently that if you can have a strategy where you do have a few key sources, like kind of leading you to what's next, I think that's really important. One of those sources for sure should be about what big tech is doing online, right? So that you're not taken totally off guard.
At least keep up with the trends and
just
what they're
keep up, like,
doing.
And that's not, I'm not saying spend a lot of time on it, but if I would venture to guess that most entrepreneurs haven't spent any time, right? Like
too busy in their own thing,
right?
Yeah.
So there's that. And also, understanding that even though there's a tremendous amount of proclaimed expertise out there, there are true experts out there where you can shortcut tremendously. The learning curve to get any kind of outcome. And then I'd say last would be speed, that, the understanding that, today's the easiest day to grow your business. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit harder. The next day it's going to be a little bit harder. And that every platform in their infancy generally welcomes small business and direct response marketers with open arms. And we get to do whatever we want in the beginning and make lots of money doing it. Speed is important in regards to quickly executing, letting the execution guide your understanding, so action creates clarity, right? Which then feeds an emergent strategy.
Sure, it all develops from there.
It's they support each other, but speed in every area, but more and more now in execution is probably vital.
What are you most excited to hear about from this live stream? Is there any specific topics that you're really sort of pumped to go down the rabbit hole?
What'll be really interesting for me is what are the patterns of that? In other words, are a lot of people, is there a common thing that most people are recommending? Is there because that's how I tend to think, right?
This is
I'm
a
looking
perfect
more for
environment
patterns.
for that.
Yeah. And so I'm interested in that. But then this kind of environment also kind of sets up something that's really great for the viewers. And that is that it ends up being a little bit of an ego play, and everyone wants to deliver something of higher value than everyone else. Right? And so the people at home watching are the beneficiaries of this competition that is going on in this cigar bar that we're live streaming out of who can deliver the best stuff that will make the biggest difference in the most amount of people's lives in 2020. So
this is going to be crazy.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Are you going to be up for the whole 24 hours?
I will be up for the whole 24 hours. I could probably go 48 hours when we're talking about marketing and business growth.